For the stars, traveling so far, like a dragonfly. Just grab my hand from heaven sent. We need tonight. I run away. I run away. I run away. I run away.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com. Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Well, it looks like we are live. You can see me. I'm moving, but Hayes over there is not moving at all. He's sitting oddly still. How are you doing, Mr. Hayes?
I can confirm I am moving, but just not with a live video stream capturing my movement. So I am alive, but unfortunately we're going to have to suffice with the picture for this evening.
Yeah, we'll have to deal with it. We're just going to have to deal with it. And we're going to have to deal with some good CS tonight. Welcome, guys. This is ESL Southeast Europe Season 7. And this is the second match day, play day number 2 as they call it, and we're just about ready to go. I'm Extremes, and with me is Hayes. We've casted quite a lot of ESL together. It was just ESL Africa, not ESL Southeast Europe, so it's been a while.
Great to be expanding our continent base in terms of the Counter-Strike that we're covering. I mean, how exciting to be... Well, I mean, you've had a little bit more experience than I have. I suppose this is my first time casting the Southeastern Europe CS, and I'm quite excited to be see rather what's going to be put on the top shelf here. Caught a couple of your games, but firsthand always makes for a good experience, especially when I have the opportunity to cast it. Just watching them warm up, you can see the aim is warm and crisp as ever, so that always provides good Counter-Strike.
Absolutely does, and I'm pretty excited to see how it goes. In terms of the teams that we've got tonight, we've got Invictus, Aquilus, and ClickTech, and I've covered quite a bit of ClickTech actually, because I've had the fortunate or unfortunate experience, depending on how you put it, of casting them in multiple overtimes in the qualifier, and then yesterday's game actually went to 3 maps as well.
Okay, so we're hoping that we're going to get a bit of a marathon on our hands here. We got the marathon runners. Now we just need to get the marathon set up and going. Is Invictus Aquilus going to play a part? That's the question. I mean, got the Romanian team over here. Not too many names immediately popping out that I've picked up on the big stage, but the one is a name that I might be a little bit familiar with. I'm not sure if he had a stint with Nexus or the likes of Cosmine and the boys somewhere along the line, but he does look a little bit familiar. Could be wrong though. Either way, I think we are going to have a fairly high quality game here. As you said, these guys have been pushing the limits quite a lot in the games that have been played so far. So speaking of limits, we've got our maps for this evening. I believe Mirage is our first pick. As you can see, that was ClickTech's pick. Then we're going into Train, which is Invictus Aquilus's pick. And then the third and final is Inferno, which is, of course, the staple of Counter-Strike. Inferno, third map. Name a more iconic duo.
Yeah, the perennial third map. At one point when we didn't have that much Inferno, it was Cobble that seemed to be that map, and thank goodness it's not that anymore, because Inferno, I think, is always the perfect closer to a series if it goes to 3.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I think it's one of those maps that's got a really nice mix-up of all the different varieties that Counter-Strike brings to the table. So you get to see a really good contest between the different teams. And an analogy I'd like to draw out is, well, we got the knife round ahead of us, so I've got a bit of time here to run the mic.
Oh, yeah,
is if you consider racing, the thing that they've tried to establish in the Australian scene is that they want to have a variety of cars and not restrict the engines as much as they would in Formula One. Now, the point of that is because then different cars excel at different parts of the track, and you don't have these set gaps in between the cars once the race has already begun. Now, drawing that back into Counter-Strike, you're going to have teams who are good at specific things, and a map like Inferno really does allow them to play to their strengths. And as I said, it has that diversity. So, interestingly enough, the knife round went down there.
I like this. You're bringing out motorsport. I like motorsport a lot. Big fan, actually.
It's one of those things that people tend to either love or hate. But once you kind of get a bit of an understanding, someone really needs to sit with you when you watch it for the first time and just get you in on what's going on. Because I feel like it's one of those things that as an outsider, you can't really get into the sport.
Sounds like you're talking about Counter-Strike.
Rugby or soccer. Well, I suppose there's a few parallels there as well.
Yeah,
but amongst all my talking, I missed who won the knife round. I'm assuming it was Invictus Aquilus.
I wasn't paying attention either. I was just listening to that story about Australian racing. I was just like mesmerized there, man. That was some crazy stuff.
By deduction, I'm sure we can assume that Invictus Aquilus did win the knife round. As we can see them on the CT side currently, that is the favored side generally across all maps. And it looks like we're going to be going into the pistol round. So without further ado, let's kick off.
Let's go indeed. It's ESL SEC Southeast Europe Championship Season 7, and we're ready to go into the pistol round. Invictus Aquilus, who managed to get through the open qualifier in the very first weekend, making it right through. ClickTech had to try a little bit harder, and it was much harder for them with all the overtimes they went through. And course, they had a bit of a hard time yesterday too. So they're battle hardened, and Invictus Aquilus here maybe could be coming in underdone. We'll have to see.
Whoa, very aggressive here from ClickTech, straight into the B bomb site. They've got one smoke and a double flash, and in fact they're getting a little bit stuck in a choke point here, not going through into the bomb site. Allows for a few pickoffs to come through, but that doesn't seem to be hindering them as they've found 3 for themselves. They got the one-man advantage here, and Meeks is not going to be slowing down. He picks himself up a double. That was a very, very aggressive round there from ClickTech. Perhaps a taste of what's to come this game. I mean, maybe they're not too keen on the overtimes this time. They want to get it done in record time.
Yeah, actually the same thing they did yesterday in their game as well. So I'd be interested to see if that's going to be something that somewhat of a feature of the season. Against Jailon shooting yesterday, they did the exact same thing, except that time they got shut down. And talking about shutting
nice
people
shot.
down, whoa.
Very good shot there by Kunka. Catching the 1D in middle, and a second one actually coming through from Catwalk by the 1. All of a sudden things looking a little bit dicey here.
Tough stuff, but the 1, he's making it look easy. He lands another 1D, and 1 player only left alive. It's Nix, and he's not going to be able to do too much. Kunka taking him down. I kind of think there's a sound in there somewhere, you know, like kunking a guy in the head.
You're going to have to take the lead for a little bit. I've got some internet connectivity issues right now, so let me just figure this out while you just continue telling the story.
Absolutely. So 1-1 there, Invictus Aquilus with the very swift strike back there. It looks like we'll be getting into this round, and a nice way to get into it there from Lurker Skywalker, also known as Dotty. Darting a 7.62mm round off the cranium of the 1, and he's not going to be feeling too good about himself after all. Kills are coming in for the CTs though, and well, that hero AK only gets the 1 kill so far, it looks like, and Gedjim's the last man left alive here in the 3v1. Nothing but a deagle to work with, and I think that's going to be really difficult for him to deal with 3 players.
Yeah, I am back as well, so good timing to jump in there. And I'm really glad that you pronounced Gedjim's name for me, because that just ironed out any enunciation issues for myself, because just looking at his name alone created a world of confusion in my mind. And just getting back into the game here, as you said, the 1 versus 3, and he's at least got the bomb and the A bomb site. Very passive here from Invictus Aquilus. They're happy to give up the site at this stage, potentially even the plants. In fact, not even going to be the case as he walked into Starkiller's crosshair, and that's going to be the 2-1 lead for Invictus Aquilus.
Seems like it. I see one of the viewers asking if our sound is okay. I don't know. You'd have to tell me. I assumed it was good. Please let us know if you guys are having any audio issues or if something's not loud enough or whatever. We'd love to fix it for you. Want you to have fun and enjoy yourself while you're here. Don't know
yes,
if ClickTech are going to enjoy this round, though.
No, this is not a round anybody enjoys in Counter-Strike. The full eco is the terrorists. Only a P250 lone investment in the round, and it's going to go to show. Nice spray trans there from Kunka, actually. Not something that you see too frequently is the transferring upwards from the spray. Something a lot more frequently is, of course, pulling down. So nice adjustment there by him, and he's not wasting any time kicking off this game. 8-1 at the moment.
Jeez, he's dealing out some pain there. Soul's also looking to deal out some more pain with that AWP. First time we're going to see that really in anger. Of course, we did see it in the previous round, but he got wrecked instantly by those pistols.
Yeah, he's taking that AWP towards Catwalk once again. Good flash usage by the terrorists. Allows them to get past the AWP. They do get taken down by Starkiller. The support structure getting picked apart. Unfortunately, Souls is going to be able to make away with the AWP at least, but how much is that going to bode, or how well will that bode for them? ClickTech, although they played very aggressively, have now slowed it down, but Shadow Strike just trying to get something done off the back of losing those frags early on in middle, and it's not going to work out for him. Good intuition there from ClickTech. Of course, as the terrorist, it's a safe assumption to make that if you do get 2 quick early picks in the round, the counter-terrorists are going to try to counter you by taking map control elsewhere. So preempting that and finding another frag.
Yeah, indeed. I think audio is fixed there. Thanks for mentioning that, Penguin. That gave me a clue as to what might be the issue, so I think I fixed it. Let me know if it is fixed. Talking about fixing things, well, there's something that's broken here, and it's the Invictus Aquilus economy. Look at that. Scraping together a buy. And I don't know. Don't have a lot of utility to work with. They could be in for some trouble. They need that AWP to do work here.
it's quite interesting that they go for this buy, considering it's still so early on in the half, and generally you'll see these teams going for these types of force buys much later on when they're under more pressure. Neeks tries to catch Shadowstrike off guard there, but he's completely aware, catches him. Doesn't go untraded though, at least elsewhere on the map, as Starkiller does get taken down. So that does leave things in a 4 versus 4, which of course does favor the terrorists pretty much on any map that you play across Counter-Strike. Interestingly enough though, they've got 3 players grouped outside of B, and the bomb is still in their spawn. Not sure if it's going to be a fake and they wrap back around. Still plenty of time left on the clock, so really no need to be making commitments this early on.
Yeah, 4v4 situation. This angle from Shadowstrike, very difficult to deal with, and he gets the headshot through the edge of the wall there, but takes an AWP to the knee as well. He's not going to be running any marathons anytime soon.
Yeah, both of those players are going to be walking away wounded, so both of them happy to give up the angle. Shadowstrike maintains control towards Van, so it's good information for them nonetheless, although the rotation does still come across from Souls, which means that there's only 1 player left in the form of Kunka on that A bomb site, so he's going to have a bit of a challenge here. 3 players, potentially a 4th coming through ramp, and it's actually a dry hit here. I really enjoy these types of hits from teams, especially when you're trying to get them off guard, because then as the smokes are down, you're already getting yourself onto the bomb site. Very little time for the counter-terrorists to react, and as you can see, another pick there for Juan coming through.
Yeah, one flat through, laying him flat, as is his tradition. The backstab going to be coming in, but they know where he is thanks to the kill that he got. His name's the one, but I think he may not get much more than that one. Floor0's got him.
At least he's able to walk away with something. They do pick up 3 kills in the round, but considering that they went for that full force, they're certainly one of what would have liked walking away with the win. As you can see how that's affected their economy now. 2 of their players going to be in heavy double save territory. You can see the one acknowledges that he does invest in the Desert Eagle as well. And Starkiller assuming, or making the assumption that he's going to be saving for the AWP, considering he still has $4,000 in the bank.
Every time you say the one, I think you're talking about somebody else, and it turns out to be a guy's name. Shadowstrike there. He strikes, gets a headshot there.
These seem to be the rounds that the Invictus Aquilus have actually been fairly dangerous, and maybe it's because there's that, well, really nothing to lose ambition, and they do just go for those aggressive players. In this case, it is Neeks who's got all to play for, and he picks up a nice double kill there towards Connector, taking complete control of the A-bomb site, and Lurker Skywalker will close out the round. So, Invictus Aquilus bounced back really nicely after losing the pistol, but it's been all click tech since then, and it's been a pretty dominant performance. I think it's quite important for Invictus Aquilus to jump back into the game here and pick up this round.
Yeah, they absolutely have to, and they're going all in, going for the double AWP, including, well, the lack of armor on Shadowstrike, glass cannon there, so that could potentially work out, or it could be maybe a bit of too much of a gamble. And oh, he gets taken down. It was too much of a gamble. Souls with the reply though.
At least there is a player on catwalk here, the one to try and keep some tabs on this B bomb site. Only 1 player from the terrorists as well, but such beautiful support from Neeks' teammates allows him to get the pick onto the one who's completely blind. And once again, ClickTech have blown the door wide open on the bomb site. Souls though holding the angle, catches Lurker Skywalker crossing towards the broken wall. Bomb to go down in a couple of seconds, but at least the counter-terrorists have pulled it back into the 3 versus 3.
That seemed a bit overzealous there from Lurker Skywalker to jump across. Would not recommend, and Jesus, would not recommend getting shot in the head there either. That hurts, man. Everybody going down.
I didn't even see that lurk coming through there. Juan Flatru catches me off guard completely as well. I don't even want to know what those counter-terrorists are thinking right now.
Ouch, that's got to hurt, because you feel secure in that situation. You're waiting for somebody to make a mistake.
Yeah.
In actual fact, there's the lurk coming in that you didn't even expect.
Exactly, and you even get a little bit confident after that first pick was found by, I believe, by Souls with the AWP on the cross. So bringing into a 3 versus 3, but still not able to make it work. Now you can see an aggressive play up catwalk. I really like the smoke as well, just to give you cover from snipers and connector, but it does not give you cover from bullets as Souls takes down Lurker Skywalker. It doesn't look like it's going to have too much of an impact on the round, as they do have the B-bomb side in their control once again, but nice shot through the smoke nonetheless.
Oh, Nake's saying next. He just wants more kills.
Yeah, lining them up and knocking them down. That's a double kill for him this round. And it is going to be Gamezilla to close out the round. So 6-3 is the scoreline, and once again another very important buy round coming through here for Invictus Aquilus, and it looks like ClickTech have really hit the ground running on this T half. Of course, it's important to note that this is their map pick, so we would have high expectations from them going into this.
Yeah, one would think. Double AWP yet again. Didn't really work so well last time, but they do have armor on those. Timing a little bit off for Souls, and he could get caught off here. He's under a lot of pressure, and his teammate trying to help him out gets taken down, but the replies are still favoring the Invictus Aquila somehow. I don't know how.
Yeah, I think maybe a little bit of tunnel vision coming out there from ClickTech as they did catch him dropping down to lowers. You do think, wow, now we've definitely got him trapped, and in fact, it actually plays against them. Nice damage done through the edge of the smoke there by Kunka, and that's going to prompt the terrorists to make the play through ramp towards the A-bomb site. It's going to be that dry hit once again, it looks like. Just working their way out nice and slow.
Nice
checking
angle.
their corners. Yeah, this is a really strong angle to play on the A-bomb site. You'll see Rain heavily favoring that. Made it quite popular. Kunka going to be the next point of contention here. He's got them lined up, able to get one, get significant damage onto the second as well. Gemzilla got a bit of a task on his hands here. 50 seconds left, so he really doesn't have to commit to the A-bomb site. And Shadow Strike with the AWP is going to find himself an easy pick to close out the round.
They made that look easy after things went rather wrong at the very beginning of the round. The support play there through Connector and from Cat, I think, really turned things around towards middle. As you said, some tunnel vision coming in from ClickTech, and finally a reply from Invictus Aquilus. It's been a while for them since they went around. Yeah,
it certainly has, but the important aspect of this, or rather holding their own in this half, is to ensure that they continue on here. If they're going to lose this round, they're going to be in double eco territory. Their economy is completely shot at this point. Of course, they have lost their round loss bonus. So being reset now, they need to find a couple consecutive rounds. Juan Flatro, or Flatroo rather, is going to get caught off guard there. And unfortunately, the first pick not going ClickTech's way once again.
Yeah, it's been a rare occurrence so far. It's usually ClickTech with those entries. So good to see it going the other way for Invictus Aquilus. Ooh, I think Next spotting something, and he's been the best fragger so far, and he's going to continue that form. He drops Shadow Strike, and that's the AWP out of the equation. Gedgemzilla also coming in through Connector and striking too. And now there's some fear in this defense. They don't know exactly where this take is coming anymore.
Yeah, and the biggest problem about that is the time. There's still a minute left on the clock. These guys are going to be running around like headless chickens trying to get some tabs on exactly what the terrorists have got in store. And the problem is that the B-bomb site's already completely in their control. Just one player towards A having a bit of presence is enough for them to let go of the B-bomb sites, at least remotely. And now the bomb has made its way across. Kunka, though, going to be trying to make a retake here. He does get taken down by Gedgemzilla, but Souls does not let that go untraded. Down to 2 versus 2 here. Very doable for the CTs, but Starkiller just getting a bit ahead of his teammate here. Souls in no position to trade that out. Now down to 2 versus 1, and you can see that last flank has been burnt into his mind as he is now completely wary of that. Terrorists going to drop the smoke, give themselves a bit of cover, get the bomb down, and Lucas Skywalker, or Lurker Skywalker, just playing the safer option by going for the fake. In fact, he's baited out once again. He's just lost the round for his teammate. There's only 3 seconds left. I don't think he can get the kill. 2 seconds. Oh, Souls is going to come out with the clutch. Lurker Skywalker getting a little bit ambitious with the frags there, and it's going to cost them the round.
What? That was just crazy. I mean, I understood the first fake, but the second fake, he had no time for it. There was no reason to do it.
In a 1 versus 1, maybe you can see how that can be a viable play, but just in the 2v1 there, the safer option is generally always the better option.
Jeez, and then he goes for the fight as well. I mean, obviously it would have looked stupid if the AWP had perhaps missed the no-scope, but he hits the no-scope, and from there it's just blown apart. Lucas Skywalker does spot him out there, but is traded immediately.
Yeah, Starkiller's going to have to get some work done on the TA bomb site. He's already taken himself down 2. No trade coming through just yet. Some good damage done through the triple box. And Gedgemzilla is going to follow up on that frag. So at least they have managed to retain it to a 3 versus 3 as the bomb does go down soon. And these guys seem to be fairly reluctant to put the bomb down. And the problem is that CT is in complete control of the counter-terrorists. And now the bomb has been dropped in their control. Gedgemzilla at least able to get up on the box. So he's going to be able to get one. And he knows that it is not the one he is looking for, as it was the one who found the frags. So
these are not the droids you're looking for.
And he is now down to 19 health. He made his way around jungle, and the terrorists not expecting this straight away. may allow for him to get a quick frag and turn this into a 1v1. Certainly a lot more of a favorable situation. But Gejimzilla, as the time goes on, the bugs do start to bite. And he does check towards jungle. So that's still a hard reset for Invictus Aquilus, even though they picked up 2 rounds on the trot, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. Gejimzilla reigning supreme at the moment, 17-5. I do have to criticize ClickTech a little bit, as you were pointing out in the previous round, for their etiquette when it comes down to putting the bomb actually on the ground. It seems maybe overthinking things a little bit. They could have planted there while the smoke was still there. They delayed it too much. And then he tried to plant while the smoke was gone. And yeah, things can go really wrong from there. They're just lucky that I think that the last CT was low HP. Otherwise, they might have been in a bit of trouble there in the clutch.
Yeah, I think it's maybe just complicating things a little bit too much. If you think about it, perhaps they could be playing on the CT's minds a little bit by delaying the plant and maybe forcing them to consider the B-bomb side. Kunkka actually going to come out with the USP kill. Somehow he's still alive until he's eventually put to bed. Going back to my point, which was that sometimes it can get into your head a little bit as the counter-terrorists. Not that I remember exactly what I was talking about. That USP kill just managed to pull my mind off track just a little bit, yeah. It tends to happen as a commentator time to time. The mind is a very present thing, and as soon as you stray off, things tend to be forgotten.
It happens, of course. There's another win happening there for ClickTech in that round. That's the half win for them as well. 8-5 in this ESL Southeast Europe Championship Season 7 encounter. It's Playday 2. And we do thank you for joining us. I'm Extremes with my good friend, Mr. Hayes. First time casting online together, so I think we're doing okay. We haven't spoken over each other too much.
This is actually the first time that we've casted a game online. Interesting, hey? I mean, getting into the action here, this is the force fire coming out from the CTs, I believe, and they have got nothing to stand for. Absolutely demolished as the hit comes through onto the A bomb site. ClickTech, very, very aggressive from them, and they're not even done there. It's all about the KDR at this point, says Juan Flatru. Well, not only KDR, but he also wants the headshot percentage.
Yeah, very nice headshot to round it off, but ClickTech
okay, so just forgive me for calling that was a force buy. They were actually just going for that eco evener out and just buying up what they could.
Yeah, the quasi buy. If you listened to Semper 3 years ago, I don't think anybody else ever called it that. But
nah, that's quasi buy is definitely a thing in Counter-Strike.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I like it, but anyway, I think they're going to be liking the fact they're back on rifles. The only thing for Souls is he's stuck on a scout, which could potentially be an issue. ClickTech overall as a team generally on T-side tend to play quite fast. So, I mean, you've seen it. They go for the dry pushes and those sorts of things. But they have a lot of variation as well. And we're seeing some of that variation here. Now, taking it a lot slower. Maybe just keeping the defense guessing, because obviously the run into the site and bash them over thing has worked for them. Now they're trying a slightly slower approach.
Yeah, and I actually really like the way that they're playing this by faking towards A, because they've been very aggressive after they've thrown their pieces of equipment towards the bomb sites. And have a look at this. That's actually going to be the double fake, it would seem, as they've thrown a bunch of equipment towards A, 0 response thereafter, and now they're going to throw up a second following a bunch of equipment, which would heavily insinuate that it's going to be an A hit to any counter-terrorist team. This is a very rare strategy, so once you see this coming around, 9 times out of 10 the CTs are going to commit to the defense. As you can see, a really nice frag there by Floor Zero, taking down Kunkka, and the rotations are coming through thick and fast towards the A bomb side. 2 players committing for ClickTech, and they've already got control of A. Still 1 player in B for them to deal with though, and he could be the crux if he does keep himself alive and find a couple of picks, and he is able to get 1, but Neek's there to trade it out. And already down to 3 versus 3, and Floor Zero in such a powerful position. Could trigger discipline from him. He's going to be able to line up 2, although he does only take down 1. Of course, this is the final round of the first half, so no need for the counter-terrorists to be considering saving, although it's not going to be making much of a difference. The counter-terrorists, or rather the terrorists, they smell blood, and they've found it as well.
Geez, that's some fantastic work out of ClickTech there. Just absolutely bamboozling Invictus Aquilus there. They had no idea what was coming, and everybody was behind everyone else there for ClickTech. Yep. They just caught so many easy kills there.
And wasn't it great to see just the diversity of the playbook coming out from ClickTech there? The fact that they've been playing so aggressively in this half, and now to just completely put the brakes on things and throw in a massive execute with the double fake into the B hit. I mean, that's just a really nice change up of pace and completely catches the CTs off guard.
Absolutely. So off into the pistol round we go. Second half, yeah. ClickTech in the lead 10-5. ESL ACC Season 7 Playday 2. Looks like another B-bomb site take coming in
Yeah.
here, but Nex opening it up nicely. Souls with the trade.
Yeah, they're trying to give them a taste of their own medicine. Here are Invictus Aquilus as they've gotten themselves towards B, but still two counter-terrorists to deal with here, and they're getting tapped away one by one. Starkiller responds, but he gets taken down, and that leaves Shadow Strike alone in a dark and lonely corner as he is going to be the one to die finally. So 11-5, ClickTech now picking up both pistol rounds, and that puts them in really good stead to go on and pick up their own map.
Yeah, they're in a very good position. Invictus Aquilus with 5 in their CT half, probably not going to be enough if you don't win the pistol. So now it's really dire straits time. And I don't know about going top mid. That's not a great idea against the long range weapons that the CTs are likely to have there.
And without head armor, so you've just turned yourself into a prime target. And it's not even about assuming that they're going to have rifles. I mean, you even become a one-shot headshot target for the likes of like UMPs and potentially some P250s, MP9s. Yeah, so interesting that they go for that. And they've got one save in them here. So this is going to be the easiest round yet, most likely for ClickTech. Only a couple P250s being invested. And Mike, what do you think about trading out one of those P250s for the likes of a smoke or a flash potentially?
I think they would usually work pretty well. A team flash there, though, helping out the one rather nicely. He gets himself 2, in fact. So that flash, we're just talking about a team flash proving a bit costly here. Shouldn't bother them too much in the round overall with the Nex cleaning up. But still, things could have gone very wrong there.
Just going back to my points, I mean, it's something that I've found fairly a common denominator across a lot of Counter-Strike teams is that in these hard eco rounds, they're reluctant to invest in that lone flash or smoke grenade and rather pick up a P250. And I just feel like a flash has a lot more potential for the team than picking up the upgraded pistol, whether it be just giving you cover to get the bomb down, an initial pick to get on a site. I just think a lot more potential lies with the equipment than it does with the pistol.
Totally agree. It's also something that's often been championed by Anders in the tier 1. He often speaks about things like that as well. It's definitely a very worthwhile investment if you consider what it costs versus what you can get out of it. I mean, you can have 2 guys on the site flash, run them down with Glocks, get free guns, all for the price of 200.
That's exactly it. So, heed our logic, guys. There is method behind it, as we see Invictus Aquilus in a do-or-die situation here. AKs across the board. Only 2 more smokes to work with, Mike. That's not an ideal situation when you are up against the wall. Looks like they've got themselves towards the A bomb site here. Shadow Strike, he still smells a rat, and that's going to allow him to find a pick, at least hampering the defense somewhat towards the site on which they will be executing. And Souls actually finds himself another one, Kunka, picking up the 3rd for Invictus. So all of a sudden, things looking very much in their favor. Lurker Skywalker, well, he doesn't have much of an eco in the bank, so he wants to ensure he takes this AWP into the next round. And ClickTech just getting a bit of a taste of their own medicine there.
Pretty much so. The speed just destroying them. And Invictus Aquilus, taking a string out of the bow, so to speak. Next, getting the kill there. I thought maybe it might actually be Lurker Skywalker that would get it, but he decides to get through the murder hole and get out there and do some murdering of his own.
Well, he is going to do such, as he's taken down 2 guns, and that's fairly significant considering that Invictus Aquilus managed to get into the bomb site with 5 players. And the fact that they walk away with 2 is going to be a little bit demoralizing for them.
Yeah,
I mean, of course, at this position, it's all about the win. But economy is very important as well when you do have your backs up against the wall, because you can't really afford to lose a round and go into an eco situation, which is the current scenario for them going into this next round.
Yeah, it's quite precarious for them. Even for Invictus Aquilus, having won the round, because they lost those 2 players, they're not going to feel like winners, really. They've sort of extended their life here, but the economy for both teams could be in trouble. Also, if you look at ClickTech, in 2 players they can buy, I mean, they could drop weapons around those that they could force, but of course, on the CT side, particularly if you decide to force a bit too much, it's very difficult to get out of that hole. It's a lot easier for the terrorists with what the weapons cost for them.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can find yourself with the max round loss bonus, and if you get a plant, you can buy every single time on T side. Of course, cannot be the same cannot be said for the CT side. I do think in this scenario, it's probably in ClickTech's best interest to go for the force buy. As you can see, they've got enough sufficient economy to drop 2 more rifles, and then one player is just going to be on that CZ, maybe a UMP if Neeks is feeling generous enough.
I guess we'll see. Maybe they're internally debating that at the moment. There we go. The force coming through, and it's going to be a fairly good buy as long as Floor0 puts himself in a position that CZ can be dangerous. And of course, the CZ is dangerous everywhere. If it had a scope, it would be better than an AWP, right?
I mean, I saw a statistic that after the first, I think, 2 days or 2.5 days of Star Series, that the CZ had been bought like 450 times, and the P250 like 220. And that's just the scary statistic when you consider that the vast monetary difference between those weapons. Lurker Skywalker towards the B-bomb site's got a bit of a job on his hands here with the AWP. He's able to find himself 2. He's got a bit more to find. Yeah, the 3rd to take down Souls. This man is not even stopping him. He's still alive and kicking somehow. Eventually, he gets taken down, but he's left his team in a completely winnable scenario. Floor0 comes into complete, which was a complete flooring of Invictus Aquilus. And I mean, what a show on the AWP there. You were talking about this guy before the game, a 15-year-old Swedish talent, and this guy is showing all the qualities at a really ripe young age.
Yeah, that was really well played by him as well, because after he got that first pick, he just fell back a little bit, made sure that he couldn't get run down initially with those rifles. And that second shot was just stellar, and then the fact that he could follow it up even, I think that might have broken the back of Invictus Aquilus, yeah.
Yeah, well, it's pretty evident if you just look at their buy alone. You got 2 players who completely invest in the round, and the remaining 3 who went for the eco, and that's always a very easy telltale sign that the communication is broken in a team. And when you are down 15-6, well, generally the comms aren't at their best. So a bit of an unfortunate sight for the Romanians, as personally I think it's really important to fight until the end of a map, even if you just demoralize the confidence of your opponent somewhat. If you can just pick up 2 or 3 rounds, ClickTech aren't going to be as confident going into the next map. Lurker Skywalker, once again, he's got a really nice jump onto the catwalk there, and he follows it up with a nice shot. He's still got control here. A beautiful flick onto Shadow Strike. He decides to make his way towards lowers, and that's eventually going to lead to his demise, although his teammates are there to pick up the pieces, as only 2 players remaining to try and keep Invictus Aquilus in this first map.
Oh, the worst flash
And
of all
that is
time.
just a telltale sign of how things have been going. Unfortunately, the second time he does get a bit better of a flash out there, but how much of a difference does it make? He's in the 1 versus 2, and there is actually a decent amount of time for him to work with here. The only thing is that the bomb is not anywhere near him, although this is not in ClickTech's knowledge base, so they are still checking out towards the A bomb site. Although, surely the timing doesn't work out like this. Neeks just has an itch as he does go and check towards TV room. Fortunately, the 1 does avoid Travesty as he goes back towards A.
Yeah, he's going to have to pull off something here. There's, of course, Floor0 on relatively low HP. That might be an easy target for him. We'll have to see. Lurker Skywalker, though, again in this round, doing some amazing stuff. I want to see the replays of these, but, of course, the ESL guys are always good at pulling out those replays for us on Twitter, so we'll probably see it again. Will we see another win of a clutch here? The 1 getting the first there on Floor0, and
he actually legs him through the box there. Only 6 points of health left. He needs to go for the pistol here. He changed out to the CZ, but it's not going to be enough. The 1 is going to be adding to that highlight reel as he picks himself up a 1 versus 3 clutch, was it in the end? Yeah. 1 versus 2 maybe? I can't even remember going back before the plant there, but keeping their heads above the water. Invictus Aquilus only just...
Wow, that was a highlight round in general, right? I mean,
yeah, big time. I mean, just so much went on that round.
And now the buy not so good. Lurker Skywalker not covering himself in glory this time round. Just runs out into the waiting jaws there of the UMP on Kunkka. The 1, however, is going to go down. Floor0, in fact, getting 2, and somehow there's a player in
How
connector.
Did he end up there? Did he jump down middle? Neeks is going to take down the player in connector. Kunkka and Starkiller, the only 2 remaining, though. Kunkka's still able to get a bit of work done with that UMP. Gejim Zilla going to be coming to the equation, and once again, we are down to the 1 versus 1. Positioning certainly favoring Kunkka at this point as he wraps his way around T-Sport. Gejimzilla could go for the full flank and just completely try and outsmart his opponent. Kunkka, 19 menial points of health at this stage, and he's still down to the UMP. Even though he's found a plethora of frags, he still hasn't been able to trade it out for an upgraded weapon. And I actually really like Zilla's position here. He's playing it very, very passively, and he's got good sound cues towards the bomb as well. And in this scenario, I'm also a fan of giving up control of the bomb because the terrorist, of course, heavily expects you to be in that vicinity. Kunkka does check towards lowers, and now he makes his way towards A. So fortunately for him, he has a fairly decent read on this. Although it looks like they may be rotating into one another. This is going to be a bit of a tragedy for whoever loses this, and it looks like Kunkka is going to be on the receiving end here. Zilla may just commit to the B bomb site, and this may work out a little bit for Kunkka if he's able to get the angle. I'm not sure if Zilla is going to be expecting this, although he's not going to check it. He goes down for the plant straight away. Zilla, though, not showing his hand just yet. Very, very smartly is patient for Kunkka to walk away from the bomb after he's dotted it down. And ClickTech not going to allow any more chaos to be going their way or against them on this map of Mirage as they pick up the first in this best-of-3 series.
Yeah, 16-7, very comprehensive victory. Got to feel bad for Kunkka in that round. He sort of outsmarted himself in the end. That's never feels good. But overall, Zilla, the man who top fragged by quite a margin. So I think it's fairly fitting that he would close it out.
As output
I just wonder what went through his mind there at the end, because he'd picked up the bomb in middle and then made his way through connector and through snipers. Where did he expect the counter-terrorist player to be at that point, considering he had also checked lowers and come through middle? I mean, the CT player couldn't have pushed up through mid around into T ramp or palace, and he clearly wasn't on the site or in snipers. So I feel like by deduction, it was a little bit clear that perhaps there was more chance of him being towards B. Of course, we've got a lot more information to work with, but just trying to see it from his perspective.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to see more of his perspective in the next map. We're going to a quick break. We hope you guys will stick with us for some more ESL SCC Season 7 action in the next map. Quick break.
Start your esports career now at play.eslgaming.com.
Get your team apparel now at shop.eslgaming.com.
So it looks like we're back. Hello, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Well, I can answer for myself for what that counts, and I'm doing great. I hope everybody else is doing great as well. I hope everybody's enjoyed the Counter-Strike that we've had so far. Of course, if you've just missed it, we've been through one map already. It flew by fairly quickly.
Yeah.
Quickly. ClickTech really making some fast work of Mirage as they pick that up 16-7 in the end, as we do move on to Invictus Aquilas' territory.
Yeah, this is their territory. I don't know how well or not they might do. Yeah, we did see ClickTech last night doing some very good work on this map, so they've clearly got it down.
Yeah.
I just wonder, the difference between these two teams, ClickTech seem to have a little bit more sort of tactically going on, more strings in their bow, so to speak.
Yeah, perhaps. I just feel like we haven't seen enough from Invictus Aquilas yet. They were really just on the receiving end on the CT side of Mirage there. They never really got to get going. So I'm excited to see them from the get-go of their own map. It really is a difficult thing to get going on the map when you get off to a bad start and you're on the favored side, and now you have to go onto the T-half and you've just lost the pistol. So my point being that I would like to see them where they have a little bit more opportunity to display their tactics. A longer half on the T side would be great as well, and on a map like Train, there's so much diversity when it comes to the tactics you can use. As the terrorists, very quick rotations between the bomb sites, so long as you've got that control at the top of B. You can fake through A very quickly and hit B soon after that, so going to be interested to see exactly how they go about that. But my main thing is that I'd like to see Invictus Aquilus from a clean slate here.
Yeah, I totally agree. They need to reset themselves and think about the game a little bit differently, maybe more positively, in fact, because there's not a lot of positives they could have taken out of that previous one. They got slammed for most of the game, so they're definitely going to have to come into it with a bit of a better mindset. And also, I'd say try to get on the CT side early, because while CT side didn't go well for them on Mirage, Train, it's a little easier to handle the Ts from CT side and to start your innings that way. You don't really want to start on T side if you're not confident on it.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. ClickTech, they're going to be happy whether they start on T or CT. They've got the momentum at this point. They may even favor starting on the T side so that they can just keep up the tempo of the game. Of course, as soon as you switch over to CT, you're really just waiting for those hits and those pushes to come through. And the tempo of the game is decided by your opponents. And I think that ClickTech would like that power in their hands at the stage. And I think that a lot of teams should be winning knife rounds and picking based off of that, rather than just blindly picking CT because that's just the convention.
Yeah, we'd have to see what they're really comfortable with, but I'm sure we're going to get underway pretty soon. It sounds like they're readying up, so I assume we'll be into the knife round and then off we go. Invictus Aquilus backs against the wall very much here, so ClickTech would put themselves in a really good lead in the championship as well, because they did, of course, win their best of 3 last night, 2-1. They could win 2-0 yeah, if they manage to take this one.
Yeah, and of course those map differences come down to it at the end of the day. I just want to chat a little bit about the roster, ClickTech being another one of the international rosters.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys must communicate in English. They've got players from Kosovo, Serbia, Albania, Sweden.
I mean, Kosovo there.
Kosovo, thanks. I appreciate that. Ignorant tongue of mine, or uncultured tongue rather. But I just love this new theme in Counter-Strike, where we've managed to really just find a universal language, which is Counter-Strike, and make work with the calls and the information that needs to be through English. But it's just the point that we're not allowing those barriers to define the teams that we're creating and limit the potential.
Yeah, that's a wonderful thing right now. FaZe, one of the teams that paved the way. Mouse Sports also doing some amazing work as well, and I think it's going to become more and more a trend as we've seen those sorts of teams winning championships and doing really well, communicating generally in English, but even actually for that matter, Tai Lu, the Chinese team, actually has, I think, is it an Indonesian player? And
yes, yeah, Bentet.
Yeah, so, I mean, they can't communicate necessarily in their home languages either, and they're doing pretty well at Star Series.
I read an interview where he actually often has to translate calls between Mandarin, I believe it most likely is, and Indonesian, while he's in the middle of trying to IGL, and
to be the star player.
And be the star player on top of that. That's just a hell of a role for one player to be taken on his shoulders, and he's doing it successfully up to this point. He's been a standout player. Everyone's been speaking about this guy. There's tons of potential, and you have to consider where his future might lie further than Tai Lu. We've seen the likes of these types of players, Simple, couple in FaZe as well. These guys just start off small and create really good names for themselves. So, getting into what looks to be the pistol round.
Yeah, ClickTech took the knife, so they're going to go for CT. Clearly wanting to end this quickly and mercifully, I don't know. I don't know about mercifully.
Well, yeah, I'm sure that's their last concern at this point. And judging by the push here from Gezhimzilla, mercifulness is not on their agenda, as they have got the one-man advantage, although that is evened out by the one. And he finds the lone player towards B, which means he's going to be able to get complete control. And he actually finds a pick onto the rotating player as well. Floor 0, though, able to trade that back.
Yeah, maybe going for a bit too protracted a fight there on B. So that is going to allow these players to get up close. But Kunkka under a lot of pressure here. He's blatting away there, and it's not going to work out. Floor Zero just peeking in there and taking him down. Now into the 1v1. Shadow Strike was hitting everything with the open warm-up. Can he hit this? He'd need to get the triple kill here to win it.
Yeah, these are the shots that matter most. Floor Zero, you can see how safely he's playing this. Shadow Strike not going to be messing about, puts the bomb down on first opportunity. Floor Zero is going to be able to spot the push. He sees his feet below the bomb train. Shadow Strike still going to come out on top of the duel, and that is exactly the start that Invictus Aquilus required.
Jeez, and it didn't look likely after those early 2 kills from Gejimzilla. He pushed all the way out of Ivy, saw 3 players, and still somehow killed 2 of them. It's just ridiculous the skill this man has, but it just wasn't enough in the end. Somehow Invictus Aquilus and Shadow Strike pulling it out of the fire.
Yeah, and they were heavily required to do so. We all know how that plays on a team's confidence when they get demolished in the first map and then lose the first pistol of the second map. Certainly not the tempo in which you want to start. And now, the cards are in their favor. You can see very passive play come out from there. Kunkka a little bit slow to react, although it's not going to be leading to much as he still does come out with the frag. Padding his economy there, nice $600 bonus as he does get the kill with the UMP. And you can see that Invictus Aquilus are not committing to anything, although the one is going to be committing to a gravestone as he gets taken down. 4 versus 4.
1-on-1.
And there is 2 Deagles and a Scout. If this Scout can land a couple of tags, those Deagles and CZs become very dangerous.
Wow.
Forget tags. Gejimzilla wants the whole kid caboodle for himself. He takes down a player with a headshot. That leaves only 3 left on Invictus Aquilus as the hit begins to come on the B-bomb site.
Gejimzilla was super good yesterday with that on Dust 2, particularly landing headshots all over the place. Talking about headshots, though, Shadow Strike getting in on the action. And they have brought it back a little bit. I think with Gejimzilla down, it might be a little difficult. Floor Zero does chip away, but that's all he's going to accomplish.
Yeah, Luke Skywalker, I think he's just going to try and save the Scouts at this point, take it into the next round. Not much he can get done in the situation, but of course the terrorists are going to be contesting that. So, Invictus Aquilus, even though things got a little bit shaky there at one stage, still able to power through and take the round. Juan Flattery just committed to a P250, I think. Maybe a CZ.
That's too much money.
Yeah, exactly what I'm thinking as well. Just a bit of a commitment coming out. It's actually the Deagle he went for, so quite a bit of confidence being exuberated there. Yeah, zero chill in this situation. Zero chill in Mzansi, as we would say. But this man doesn't need chill, as he's already found himself a frag. Can he get any more work done? It's going to be a pretty chaotic situation as the hit comes through onto the A bomb site here. And that's where the counter-terrorists may be able to revel, although at this point the terrorists still putting them to bed before anything gets going. Floor Zero is the only player remaining.
Yeah.
He's still able to pick up 1.
Yeah, it's enough, I think, to just keep the T's in check. One Flattery, if he'd gotten 2 there, I think it might have been a very different round, in fact. But I guess he did justify the investment, get 300 back, so it's not the end of the world. He is able to buy nicely here. And looking at it, first buy round of the half, of course, and of this particular map. And if you are just joining us, I'm Extremes with Hayes. This is ESL Southeast Europe Championship Season 7, the second match day, and the one and only match today. And if you'd like to walk away with something nice, just as Invictus Aquilus have walked away with the 3 points so far, which is nice for them, type ! giveaway in chat, and you could win 1 of 5 €100 vouchers. And I think Gejimzilla feels like he won too.
Nice. Well, that's a good pick for them to start off with, but unfortunately for Kiltech, that advantage is not going to be remaining with them. Look at this. Juan Flattery's pushed up ramp, and the one is going to actually be spotting him off. The Mac 10 prevails, and he was the lone player in the B bomb site. Gejimzilla still got a job to do. The lineup comes through, but it is not going to turn into a double kill. Kunkka still does get tagged. Floor Zero times his push perfectly through the ladder, and he's actually got the 2 remaining players on Invictus Aquilus completely split here, and he's played very aggressively towards Kunkka, who's holding the angle with the AWP, but he misses his shot. Absolutely detrimental, as that has now put the round in the clutches of Floor Zero, looking to clutch this out. What began in a pretty much unwinnable 1 versus 3, timing playing in his favor. All of a sudden, the odds are stacked in his favor.
Very much so. The one, though, has been very clutch, even on low HP in the past. What can he do here? It's going to come down to those slight degrees of timing, and time is absolutely running out. Floor Zero goes for the fight, and he wins it easily in the end. I think the one just had too little time there to really play it properly.
It's such a difficult angle to work with coming down the stairs as well, because you're way more, well, you're visible a lot more early than your opponent is, just by the nature of the direction of your perspective. So it doesn't work out for them in that case. And have a look at the buy coming out from Kiltech. They've got the double alligator. I mean, this is not something that you see too frequently. Of course, their economy wouldn't have been in the best position, but how does it work out for them?
Yeah, ClickTech with the double auto shot is something you see very rarely, but one of them actually gets a kill there. And, oh, next, getting a bit too aggressive, I think, gives away a free kill. Still Lurker Skywalker getting more done on the ramp, and there's the reply. That was, I think Lurker's probably a little confused how that happened, but hey, Souls will take it.
Yeah, he overstayed his welcome a little bit long there. Unfortunately, the AWP up close obliterating him. And Invictus Aquilus are going to apply the brakes off the back of that, so making their way towards Popdog now. The jig is going to be up once Gejimzilla spots them, so they're going to have to start playing a little bit more aggressively here. Souls, he's got the angle with the AWP here just, but unfortunately timing just not in his favor. He does have a second bite at the apple, but only a tag to boot as he is on 13 HP. They spot out the second player towards Connector, so now all the information in the hands of Invictus Aquilus, the bomb going down as well. And it's going to require something magical here from ClickTech if they are to get back into this round. You can see the full wraparound coming through from Gejimzilla. Floor0 somehow comes out on top of that duel. And surely Souls isn't going to be expecting Gejimzilla to be coming from this angle. He may have the perfect shot. He does. And he takes down Souls.
That was such a good retake. In that situation, I almost thought, I wanted to call it and say, Invictus Aquilus, they know exactly where these players are. There's no way that with the HP advantage, they have the positional advantage they had, that ClickTech could get back in it. But a lot of work being done there from the connector player. That was Floor0. And then the wraparound coming from Gejimzilla. They just played that so smartly.
Yeah, that was really well done. The wrap from Gejimzilla was the real highlight of that retake. Just the quick intuition to make the play as soon as he thought of it. So of course, time was against him, but we are in a save round here from the terrorists, and they are getting knocked down towards Popdog. In fact, before my thought process even begins, the round is over, and they're going to have a bye going into this one. Mike, the scariest thing so far on this map, I would say, is that Neeks doesn't have a kill yet, and he was incredibly detrimental to Invictus Aquilus on Mirage, so once he gets going, things might get a little bit more difficult for Invictus.
I'd be very worried. He was the top fragger up until late in the second half, where Gejimzilla mugged him for it. But
yeah,
it's ominous, really, and we've got double AWPs here also, but they're not gonna do anything.
Yeah, instantly taken down is the one. At least Floor0 is able to trade one out, but with so much time left on the clock, the terrorists must be licking their lips.
How do they not know he's there? Surely the player from Popdog must have seen him cross. I'm sure he shot at him. There's a communication failure there.
Yeah, maybe not expecting the aggressive angle to be coming out. That's why he expected his teammate to be holding that. Juan Flatru, he's not done just yet either. Bringing it back to a 2 versus 2, a winnable situation for ClickTech once again until he does fall out. Kunkka got the height advantage. Floor0's got the angle onto Kunkka though. He's not going to be aware of Shadow Strike's location. He does have the height to play with here on the trains. And the flash, and that allows him to spot him. And the biggest problem from that was that Shadow Strike hadn't seen that Floor0 darted back to Connector. So he is completely in the dark at this point.
He's going to have to do a lot of work to get back in here. And Floor0 in a very good position. He's going to get the audio cues as well, which should give him some indication of what's going on. I don't think quite he'd hear the player going up ladder yet, but as soon as that plant comes down on B, he will be rotating over.
Yeah, fortunately for Shadow Strike, he does get out of harm's way, at least enough to get the bomb down. And Floor0 needs to get a better headset. Yeah, yes. Please, somebody sponsor this guy. As a great shoulder peek there allows him to evade the bullet. He doesn't spot in time. Shadow Strike with a great timing on the peak there does take down Floor0. So very important round does come through in the end for Invictus Aquilus.
Yeah, that looked like it was all but lost, but that round seesawed quite a bit between those early picks favoring the T's. It came back again, especially thanks to Floor0's heroics. He's been very clutch in this game, eh?
Yeah, he has indeed. He's won out quite a few rounds for them, which certainly shouldn't have been going in their favor. So that's not really something that you can rely on someone to do in the long term. Nice shot there by Lurker, but you don't want to be relying on a clutch player. You want to be grateful for the rounds that he does get you.
Oh, that adjustment.
Neeks. Yeah, very, very quick adjustment. I thought he got the player jumping at the back for a second there, but still a very important frag nonetheless. Sol's also down to 35 health, so all of a sudden this round is in very poor state for the terrorists before it's even really gathered any traction.
Stifling defense here. They're so aggressive. Gedgemzilla pushing forward. Probably only the one kill that will go the way of Invictus Aquilus, and that proves to be the case. ClickTech equalized it again, and the very, very harsh reset there.
Yeah, incredibly harsh reset. So harsh, in fact, that they're not even going to accept it. They're going to go for the force buy. He had to try and get back into it, and you can kind of see where they're coming from, considering that ClickTech's economy is in the toilet at the moment. But what this does is it gives an opportunity for ClickTech to start spiraling a little bit on the CT side, which is, as you alluded to earlier, how you can get stuck in a rut of force buying. You can also get in a very comfortable position as the CTs when you do build a healthy economy.
Yeah, of course, CZs are alive, so we can never say that it's a foregone conclusion. It should be if they play this correctly, but I don't know, man. CZs can bite, especially in areas like drop.
Yeah, completely agree, and you can see that ClickTech are respecting that to a degree, not taking those close quarter duels, making sure that they give the space to Invictus Aquilus. They want to fight them once the execute comes through. They know that there's going to be very limited equipment from the terrorists. Neeks seems to have an inclination that there's a player up close here. Kunka tries to time his swing out, but not going to be. And already a man down. Does not put them in good stead, considering the weaponry is certainly not in their favor. Though Starkiller, he puts the CZ to good use here, nearly timing to find another one, although Gedgemzilla gives him the opportunity. That has dropped the bomb in the AS bomb site, so the rotations are going to be coming through, but Invictus Aquilus have got themselves into a winnable position, especially with that scout tag that comes through. Floor 0 now brought down to 31 health, 43 seconds left on the clock, and the AWP is going to find a frag from Souls as well. Invictus Aquilus find themselves with a double AWP and a CZ. Certainly not the weaponry they would have expected at this stage, but they're not going to be upset with it. Shadow Strike finds the pick, and all of a sudden we're down to Juan Flatru, who has got the full lurk coming around, and the timing may work out from here. Shadow Strike doesn't get the peak, but he does have the intuition to swing around on the 180, and Juan Flatru with the trigger discipline actually leads to being his demise.
Oh my word. I just feel terrible for him, man. He comes in there, he does everything correctly, doesn't shoot initially because of course he doesn't want to give away his position, and he just gets spun on Shadow Strike, or moving like a shadow there. Just spins around with nary a thought or a sound, and that was that. But CZ's reigning supreme there, following up on the damage from that scout early on, and the kills here unfortunately not favoring ClickTech in the least.
Yeah, very passive play coming out from Kunko, or rather a slow, subtle play coming out as he pounces on them on the A bomb side, catching them completely off guard, and he's not done there. He wants to pick up a second for the round, so that was a full force coming out from ClickTech, and nothing going their way. So they're going to have to save for another round here, and this is a great opportunity for Invictus Aquilus to start putting a bit of a gap between the two teams.
Yeah, very much so. And on 6 already, they'd be feeling pretty good about their chances, even if their run ended here in terms of their round wins in this half. But of course, they're poised to win quite a bit more. They should have this one in the bag, and possibly even a half win based on the economy for ClickTech. So I think overall, you can see that this is their map.
Yeah, certainly so, and this is what I was hoping for, that they would have a lot more fight going into this one. They'd be a lot more prepared as well. Shadow Strike just catching the outline there, which is enough for him to pull the trigger. And really, very passive from Invictus Aquilus. They haven't had to work for these frags at all. ClickTech have been gifting them duels left, right, and center, and well, they're just lapping them up at this point.
Yeah, not making it hard for them at all. And I think also with pistols on CT side on this map, you need to do something sort of uncommonly aggressive to make them work. It's not like some maps where you can just sort of sit back and wait for them to walk into your crosshair. And I kind of feel like their ClickTech weren't really doing enough to take the fight to Invictus if they wanted to make the pistol bar work. In either the Force or the save with the upgraded pistols. Of course, full buy here, but still, maybe could have done a bit more damage.
Which is a very important thing to consider. Damage, of course, you can just hamper the economy that much, but this is the round that matters for them. As you can see, rifles across the board, and pretty aggressive play here from the terrorists coming out of Pop Dog straight away. One of them swings out, but both of them gets taken down. Souls is going to be the one to try and get an entry into this round, and he finds himself one. Can he react quick enough? The flick nearly connects. Horn Flattery finally does put him to bed, and that leaves 2 terrorists, namely Shadowstrike and Starkiller, remaining. And it's just going to leave Starkiller in this 1 versus 4. Nice flash into A main. Great equipment use coming at you from the CTs. And ClickTech, do not hesitate to bounce back.
Yeah, that was very emphatic. Super aggressive out of them as well. It's almost reminiscent of some of their plays on T side, was just to run literally at that choke point and take the fight straight up and win them. Floor Zero looking very good on this map. Gedgemzilla starting to come back. It's not much half left for them here to stamp their authority on CT side. The best they can hope for is 8-7.
Completely agree with you. It's one of those things that Invictus Aquilus have bought themselves apart into the second half, regardless of how the rest of this one transpires. And I mean the rest of the game rather than the rest of the half. Looks like they're going to go for a bit of Ivy control here. You can see one player playing anti-flash. He's not inspecting the wall, and his teammate taking the immediate angle. And this has been the theme for the terrorists. The one finding the pick towards B once again, and he's gone very aggressively off the back of these picks time and time again, because there has only been one player in that B bomb site. This time Neeks is there to give cover, and he finds the frag, but Juan Flattery still going down elsewhere means Invictus Aquilus maintain that one-man advantage.
One actually looking for early aggression. It didn't work out, but it did give them a ton of information, and that allowed them to put themselves in some good positions there to stop the incursion from Ivy. Starkiller still somehow getting through there after the AWPer changed his position, so could be big, and it is big. How did he spin and burn him there?
That is problematic for ClickTech. They don't have anybody else to answer this A bomb site, and in fact Starkiller just continues to fake a really nice play from Souls, looking over the smoke with the AWP there. It doesn't turn into a frag, and nice shoulder peeks coming out from the CTs just to make sure that he's not holding their angle. That is going to stop the Molotov from reaching its target location. And ClickTech actually pulling a rabbit out of the hat there and making a round work. And that was down to Neeks, actually. He picked up a triple kill in that round, so just coming to fruition in one of the vital stages of the game.
Yeah, he's not been quite as effervescent himself. Yeah, we've seen him perform really well before. He's had a few key rounds though, and maybe that's going to give him back a little bit of confidence. The one guy I'm not really seeing too much is Lurker Skywalker, only on 4 kills at this stage.
Yeah, that's something he's going to have to pick up on. He seems to be quite a confidence player as well, so perhaps when things aren't going his way, it would affect him more than it would most. I mean, he's a young kid as well, which means emotions are a lot more difficult to control. What's going to be difficult to control is this B hit that's coming through from Invictus Aquilus, although the Molotov does a decent job of it. Neeks missing his AWP shot towards heaven, and that's going to give a second life to Starkiller. How does he utilize it?
Yeah, that seemed like a really vital kill there, actually. And the trade coming in, Lurker Skywalker getting way too aggressive there. I know he wants the information, but I don't know in that situation whether it's worth giving away your life potentially. Because when it's a 4v4, it does actually favor the Ts when numbers are equal. It means the CT defense is split.
Especially when there's a minute left on the clock, and you can see that ClickTech reply by getting aggressive through B, and this might actually lead to Invictus Aquilus's demise. I'm not sure if they've got somebody watching this. That HE grenade is going to be massive as well. Does huge damage to Shadowstrike and Souls. Starkiller fortunately is watching for the top aggression. Now that he gets his frag, surely that's going to prompt him to hit straight through to the B bomb site. 35 seconds left on the clock. There's more than ample time. Great shot there from Shadowstrike, and all of a sudden Invictus Aquilus actually have an entry into this round. Neeks. Oh, he actually got the second one. What? This man is standing in the middle of a Molotov, and he lands an absolutely immaculate flick shot. So he's just bought an avenue of entry for Floor Zero into this round. He's got the kit, he's got the M4, got the time.
How did he double peek out of a molly? I think the timing might favor him. Yeah, if he goes down ramp, decides not to actually. Oh my god. He doesn't realize how close.
Oh my god, no. Not like this. This is just so unfortunate for Floor Zero. Everything that he wouldn't have expected, and this game sense is absolutely unbetwixt, but it still doesn't work out for him. Oh man, he's never going to be expecting to check up at heaven, and he does the Molotov. That's the end of the round right there, and then Floor Zero's got no interest in this. He's going to have to try and save. Starkiller's going to die, but that's the least of his worries at this point. Wow. What a round.
What a round of seesaws. There was just everything happening there. You saw the early advantage going one way, then swinging the other when Lurker Skywalker decided to get a bit overzealous. That nade doing huge damage and drop, and you thought, okay, well, maybe this is a chance. And then too much aggression from these CTs. It just seems to be burning them time and time again. But still, got to rewind it to next and connect to there. Standing in a molly, he peeks out while in the molly, gets one kill, and then still standing in the molly, re-peeks again, and
Yeah.
somehow gets the second. That shot was just absolutely stellar, and unfortunately it's not going to mean a half win for them or even close to it. It should be 9-6 here, considering how things are going for Invictus Aquila.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how ClickTech bounce back from this in the second half, because they have had the wind taken out of their sails somewhat towards the latter stages of this first half. Floor Zero with a nice frag towards the end, but that is going to spell the end of the half. So ClickTech have really had it all in their favor so far. How do they respond when things aren't exactly going their way?
Yeah, we're going to have to see that. They looked really good on this map yesterday, but of course the opposition yesterday is substantially different. So we're going to have to see how they perform here on the T side. I recall them starting on CT yesterday actually, so I don't think they had much of T side left to actually play. So
Yeah.
I'm interested to see what they actually do here.
They seem to have a fairly standard buy. Gezhimzilla going for equipment, four players with armor, and it's a very aggressive B hit. So let's see how it works out for them this time. It's going to be the basic smoke over through the window. That's going to be blocking off deep connector. That allows the Glocks to get a nice presence on the inside of the bomb site. Soul's just challenging for one too many seconds, and that's going to lead to his demise. They've actually got 3 players on this inside bomb site, so they were perfectly equipped to deal with this hit. And the wraparound from the one as well is not going to lead to anything more than a single frag. Shadowstrike still actually has an opportunity in this round. No kit, so he's going to have to be fairly hasty in this retake. And does he expect Lurker Skywalker to be making his way along the oil train here?
Whoa.
Or rather, Gezhimzilla, what a great shot there. The matter of timing, unfortunately, does not go in his favor. But once again, these rounds are just ebbing and flowing back and forth between these two teams.
This has been such a close game. I mean, the first round, the first map might make you think otherwise, but even there, it came down to Floor Zero winning, I think, 3 clutches as well. So it's been a little deceptive in that sense. On this particular map, however, it's ever so close if you look at the scoreline. And some of these rounds have really been born off the back of individual players in not even necessarily doing anything ridiculously incendiary. It's smart players that are coming out from these players in the clutch.
Yeah, and it's been really well executed as well. You can see that the guys have been sticking to their plans and some really good teamwork as well. And I must say there's been some decent pop flashes coming out from the teammates and good crosses being held, great trade fragging coming through. So a lot of the fundamentals and basics are clearly in good stead with these teams. Lurker Skywalker goes for pop control, and a nice adjustment down to the 1 means he's going to find that control. That's a really important pick for them as well as they make their way onto the A bomb sites. And there isn't going to be much more resistance here from the CTs as they were more preparing for another B hit.
Yeah, they don't really have the equipment for this retake either, potentially, as the bomb goes down. So not even a kit for them. I don't know if the 1 maybe dropped on. I don't think so. And Floor Zero, he's cognizant that there's possibly some kind of flank coming in, so he's waiting for it. Dangerous fight, though, for 1Flattery on that angle. Still wins it, but it could have gone very wrong.
Yeah, there's a couple instances that this round could have been turned on its head, and things have just gone in the favor of ClickTech. So that's fortunate for them. And they're going to be able to make it into the next round with all 3 AKs that they purchased, which is always an important factor. Of course, buying AKs in the second round as the terrorists is quite a heavy investment to make. So the fact that they retain all 3 of them is going to bode well for them.
Yeah, it definitely helps them out. You don't want to lose those and have to rebuy armor, especially either. Even if you do manage to, say, salvage the weapon, you still got to rebuy all your utility and everything. So, going to help them out. Lurker Skywalker, the only man whose economy is taking a bit of pain, and as is his KD, not looking as good as the first map overall, but still doing his job, I think. For the other side, Shadowstrike's been really impressive, I must say.
Yeah, Shadowstrike has been on point, and he's certainly one of the reasons that Invictus Aquilus have had these successful rounds. Souls is certainly a player who's been landing some decent shots as well.
Oh!
He actually lands another really nice scout shot there. Oh, there was potential for a third, and that really would have thrown the Mats up into the air. Gezhimzilla is going to close it out onto Kunka, who's trying to evade him. Kunka, interesting fact, is a Dota character, a Dota hero. I'm not sure if how well versed you are in Dota. But,
I know nothing.
Okay,
I just
so
learned something.
that went straight over your radar. Yeah, Kunka, very popular Dota hero. Let's see if he's going to be a hero of this game, as we are tied up 9-9 going into the first buy round of the second half. Yeah, the one completely flashed up. Still going to come out on top of the duel from Lurker Skywalker. Juan Flatru is also going to get taken down. Floor Zero looks to make amends, but it is just all Invictus Aquilus at this point.
Yeah, 2v4 situation. This is not looking good for ClickTech, but we have seen them able to turn around these sorts of deficits. I don't know if necessarily if Nex is going to be aware of the player that's close to him up there in Pop Dog, so maybe it could turn around depending on if they go there. And it looks like they are going there, so the one plus for them at least is that they're in a position to trade now.
Yeah, good points. He's got to pull his gun out though. This is a very strong angle to hold, but he just gets a little bit off on the timing there. And the terrorists understand that that most likely means that there is only one player towards this B bomb site. Neeks with a beautiful adjustment there. Takes down Starkiller. Makes his way back towards the top where there is a person who's going to be lurking behind. The one might be able to line them up here. The timing completely against them as he picks up both of those frags. And how unfortunate is that for ClickTech, where they had two players potentially watching the one angle and they could just turn it straight into the 2v1. But a matter of seconds, or split seconds even, and it is a completely different result.
She's the one played that absolutely perfectly. He heard the first player coming up ramp, and then he must have thought it's his lucky day when he heard the second player coming up ramp as well. Timed the peak perfectly. Of course, it could have gone totally wrong if they were waiting for him, but they didn't see it coming. And obviously, when you manage to pull that off in game, you feel really good about yourself. But when it happens to you in turn, it can be absolutely soul-crushing.
Yeah, infuriating, especially when you're in and around as important as the first buy round. Then you can see that they want to try and answer this with aggression. Nearly catch Kunko off guard, but he's able to make it back around the corner without inheriting too much damage. And looks like ClickTech are going to try and make a hit towards this A bomb site. One player lurking towards Ivy, three guys towards Pop Dog, so a very aggressive hit will be coming through there. Just a bit of a misflash there.
That is the most complicated flash I've ever seen for Pop Dog.
I mean, people have been trying to reinvent it, man. Oh, Neeks, he gets the better of the one without any assistance of a player or a flashbang. Just going back to my point, people have been trying to reinvent the way that you take pop controls. After that updates of you can actually hear a flashbang being pulled out. Anyway, getting into the action here, you can see that they're starting to make their way onto this A bomb site. Nice smoke to get them out of pop, but they're going to have to deal with souls on the bomb train here. This AWP has been a bit of a thorn in their side. Shadow Strike strikes towards Ivy, and that is going to be one of the angles of attack being taken out of the playbook. Juan Flatru takes the player down on top of the train, and that's one of the investments that the CTs would have been relying on. He doubles up and takes a second. I don't think he spots the player on the bomb train, and Souls is able to get that frag. But Neeks once again using the height to his advantage, and he's going to take down both players. And that is, as you mentioned, soul crushing earlier. Invictus Aquilus are going to be decimated after losing that round.
That feels so bad if you're an Invictus Aquilus fan, and especially if you're in that team, because momentum seemed to favor them after they managed to stop ClickTech in the previous round, and then from there, facing a numbers advantage for Invictus Aquilus, ClickTech were able to overturn it yet again.
Yeah, that's just something that you can't really allow to happen when you're trying to make a comeback. But wow, Kunka, he picks up a double somehow. Eventually he's taken down, but he's actually bought his team an opportunity into this round, although it's all about the spray. Floor Zero and Neeks lining them up and knocking them down as if they're Skittles. It's really just a vending machine at this point, or some sort of a bot map. Every time you kill one, another guy just comes out. It's a never-ending stream of counter-terrorists.
Geez, they were just showing up there en masse through Connect, and they made it easy. Definitely a test of the spray control.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, perhaps if there was a little bit more cohesion there, or a bit tighter, they may have been able to get something done. Unfortunately not, and it's going to be the second part of the double save here. Once again, a few upgraded pistols in this round, and a few players with some light armor.
Oh, Next not realizing the one is that close. His position will be somewhat known now, so Floor Zero. His radar will feature the one somewhere on it.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if he spotted out the second player. The CT is getting very aggressive here towards A main, giving very little space to work with for ClickTech. That's going to be a nice confidence booster for Lurker Skywalker as he picks up the double spray down. And unfortunately, the remaining two CTs are nowhere near where they want to be. Engage Mzilla, well, he's going to have an easy double here, or an easy single at least. And he does go back for seconds.
As another
Got to go
bite
back
at
for
it.
seconds when it's Grandma's feast, right? I mean,
Absolutely, that would be offensive if you don't.
utterly.
You get excommunicated from the family if you don't have seconds at Christmas dinner.
Nobody wants that. So, getting into a vital round here for Invictus Aquilus. Double AWP setup.
Yeah, very vital. I'm just at least heartened to see that they have armor on these AWPers, because when they've had the double AWP in previous rounds, also on the previous map, there's been a proclivity for those glass cannons. He doesn't need no glass cannon, though. Shadow Strike destroying them. He gets 3.
Absolutely out of nowhere, ripping the heads off of 3 ClickTech players. That's going to be really frustrating that none of them were able to trade that out. Shadow Strike's going to be trying to use the cover of the smoke, but he's just going to get taken down in this round. Man, oh man, this was just too easy for
He wants
Invictus
the
Aquilus.
Oh, he's going to be denied. That's unfortunate for him.
Yeah, but things could turn from unfortunate to dangerous in a matter of seconds here for Invictus Aquilus. If they give Juan Flatru too much room to work with, and Sol's actually missing another shot on the AWP, they are buying his attention from Popdog, which means Kunkka is going to be able to come through on the flank with an easy kill.
Well, we were talking earlier about how impressive Shadow Strike has been, and the scoreboard certainly bears it out. 23 and 16 with the 4K in that round. Nearly gets himself the ace. Flawser are doing good work as well, but he's more been a late round player. Shadow Strike's had a couple clutches, but he's been very good early up in those aim duels.
Yeah, big time. I mean, that's one of the main reasons that Invictus Aquilus have had the opportunities to close out the rounds, because he's given them the meat and the gravy through the larger portions of it, not so much the clutching aspect. The one
we had Christmas dinner, and now it's about
now
meat and gravy.
I'm trying to make you hungry, actually, secretly in my plot. Well, the one, I hope he was hungry for shrapnel, because he caught a couple of grenades there in Popdog, and you can see that it's actually an outside fake here coming out from the terrorists, and the problem is that the one has all of this Popdog control, so he's getting great information. The AWP shot is missed there by Kunkka close up on the ramp, so that's going to allow the terrorists to creep that much closer, and you can see how aggressively they are falling down the ramp, and now on the back of those flashes, and the hit is going to come through. Kunkka, he's somehow standing right in front of the terrorist player with his life fully intact. Floor Zero able to get the wraparound, at least trading that up. Do they expect the second CT to be so close? Of course Gejimzilla does. This guy has the game sense of a god. And now into a 4 versus 3. The retake is never easy on the inside bomb site with a man down.
Yeah, and the AWP also often a liability in these sorts of spaces, but at this kind of range, it could actually be somewhat of an asset. But the damage being dealt there through the smoke, AWP on the other side doing damage now, and I think that's going to round it out. In fact, 2 there for Lurker Skywalker. He's looking a lot better in this half. 2
frags for Lurker Skywalker and 2 points of health for Floor Zero at the end of the round, and how differently things could have panned out if they'd found that kill. ClickTech once again just denying Invictus Aquilus any opportunity to start putting the pressure back onto ClickTech. As you can see, as soon as Invictus Aquilus went around, ClickTech bounced straight back into it, and that's just a bit of a problem when you're trying to make a comeback or keep yourself in a best of 3.
Yeah, the best of 3 rapidly falling out of their control here. If you consider their buy in the position right now, they were in the lead not too long ago, and at 13-11, may look close, but it shouldn't be. But the one has other ideas. There's Floor Zero to trade at least.
Yeah, good spray down from him once again, and he just buys the advantage for ClickTech, man. And this guy's been doing it time and time again. He picks up 3rd for this round. Gejimzilla is going to close it out with a double of his own. Something I'd just like to note is that the sprays from these players have been on point. Often we acknowledge a player's aim, specifically his ability for one-taps and flicks, but the spray control has been very impressive by these Southeastern European players so far. And that's a really important fundamental of Counter-Strike to try and hone. It's something that a lot of players, even at a really high standard or high level of Counter-Strike, still can't entirely master. Not to say that they have mastered it, but still impressive.
Impressive indeed. One does need to consider, of course, this region is the same region where Nico is from, and guys like Guardian also. And there's some
Oscar's another.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's so many good players from here, and I think this is a breeding ground for those sorts of players. Next could be one of them though. Very nice shot.
Yeah, once again lands a crisp shot with the AWB. The problem is that the bomb has been dropped in no man's land. Shadow Strike has taken down one of his support structures as well. Good timing on the peak, and he just needs as he has now got control of inside, but the bomb still not being put down as he does retrieve it.
Seems like your line is having a bit of issues, and Invictus Aquilus having some issues next though with a none. He gets 4 in the round. That was very impressive.
I think I lagged a little bit there, but I should be up to speed once again, as Invictus Aquilus cannot afford to lose another round here.
Yeah, no breathing room at all. Map and match point, series point, whatever point you want. ClickTech only need 1. Invictus Aquilus need rather a few to take it towards that overtime, and playing very fast on ClickTech.
Yeah, I want to try and cut this out in as fast as possible. Lurker Skywalker, he seems to have come to life towards the latter stages of this game. Neeks takes down Shadow Strike, and Invictus Aquilus down to a 2 versus 4 retake to try and keep themselves alive. Both with UMPs, which is certainly not the favorable choice of weapon, but the one is still able to come through. Good for a kill. He gets himself a second as well. He does really good damage onto Gejimzilla. Kunka now knows the locations of the remaining 2 players as well, and ClickTech need to be really careful that the way, or rather really careful about how they go about doing this. They make it incredibly difficult for themselves, but they still walk away with it in the end there. And I just feel like that's a really good telltale how this game has been for ClickTech. How many scenarios have just gone down to the wire, and it's been a matter of a couple points of HP or a really good shot that's just kept their noses ahead.
Yeah, that was certainly something, I've got to say. That game overall was really entertaining, despite how maybe lopsided the first map scoreline looked. Train really had it all, and I think for Invictus Aquilus, the one issue that they may have had is if Shadow Strike died, it was exponentially harder for them to win rounds, where it seemed like there was just a little bit more in reserve for ClickTech.
Yeah, completely agreed with you. It did seem like their playbook had a lot more pages to it, and you could see the depth, specifically on Mirage. They absolutely trounced Invictus Aquilus, excuse me. Yeah, eventually, the Romanians. But also showing that when their backs are up against the wall, losing the half 9-6 to go on and win the game 16-11 on the T side is quite a feat.
Yeah, no mean feat indeed. They're certainly looking pretty good. They'll be at the top of the log at the moment. Of course, still plenty of games to play in the season. We'll be back on Saturday, although it might be myself and Prophecy instead of us, as in me and Extremes and Hayes. But
yeah,
nonetheless, I'm sure you'll make some more appearances on the broadcast. And I just want to tell you straight up, the ESL guys said they do remember you from ESL Africa and they like you.
Oh, well, that is great to hear, because it's always been an absolute pleasure working alongside ESL. I mean, what a brand to be a part of. Really just pioneers of Counter-Strike and, well, actually multiple esports. So what an opportunity for us, the commentators, but great Counter-Strike. And speaking about opportunities, an opportunity to cover some of the Southeastern European Counter-Strike. That's not something that I really thought I would be doing at this stage. So great to be broadening the horizons.
Absolutely. And well, for us, I think that's it, folks. This has been ESL Southeast Europe Championship Season 7, and Playday 2 is finished. We'll be back with Playday 3 on Saturday. Look out for that on Saturday evening. I've been Extremes, and this has been Hayes. Go follow us over on Twitter, and send us all your love and adulation, and possibly a gift card to Amazon. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Don't do that. Or maybe do that. I don't know. I don't know what the rules are. I'm not breaking any rules here, guys. I'm just here for the Counter-Strike, and it has been great. Have yourselves a good evening, guys.
Cheers, everybody.